out here at Camden Military Academy in Camden, South Carolina. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. And we're starting off a new school year, and this is our first Google Hangout of 2016-17. And tonight we're just going to have a general overview of the school and, of course, give you the opportunity to interact with our students here. And we're going to start out tonight by letting them introduce themselves. I'd like for each cadet to kind of say their name, what grade they're in, and where they're from. And Alex, we'll start with you.
All right, my name is Alex. I'm a senior at CMA, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. And Chestnut.
My name is George Chestnut. I am a senior, and I am from Nashville, Tennessee.
And then we'll go to Arendelle.
Hi, my name is Michael Arendelle. I'm from St. Martin. This is my second year here at Camden Military Academy, and I'm a sophomore.
All right. And Alfredo.
I am Sebastian Alfredo. I'm a senior at CMA, and I'm from Westport, Connecticut.
All right. And these guys all have different stories on why they're here, and we're going to find out more about them tonight. So I want to talk to you a little bit initially about what actually a Hangout is. So if you've never participated in one before, we would like for you to go to one of our social media channels like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, any of the ones out there. Use hashtag Camden Military and ask your question. And then we would like to ask your questions to one of these cadets. Also, before we get started, I want to introduce Marshall Shehorn. Marshall, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Marshall Shehorn. I'm actually an alumni of Camden Military. I graduated from here in 2012, and I just recently graduated this May 2016 from a military college called the Citadel. It's in Charleston, South Carolina.
And also, we want to welcome Marshall aboard. He's actually graduated from the Citadel in May and began employment here as the Associate Director of Admissions as of August 1st. Doing a great job, and we want to welcome him aboard. So, but anyway, if you want to speak with an alumni, please just, again, hashtag those questions, and we can address them as well. Now, we're going to start tonight's Hangout with a question to Michael. Michael, you've come the farthest probably, being from St. Martin. So tell us a little bit about how you come to Camden, South Carolina from St. Martin.
Okay, so basically the reason why I came south to Camden Military Academy was because I knew that I needed improvement in areas like in my grades, my behavior, and my physical fitness. So I knew that Camden Military Academy would be able to help me strengthen those areas. And my mom found the school on a website, so she looked at it, she showed me the website, and I was like, seems like a pretty decent place to go to, so I just agreed with it.
All right. And then let's go to Sebastian. Tell us why Camden Military for you?
Why I went to Camden Military?
Right.
For time management. Usually when I was back at Connecticut, I wasn't very good at managing my time between friends and homework, so I wasn't able to turn in all my work, and that affected my grades. But here at Camden, having the scheduled structure has really helped me out.
Good. And how did your family find Camden?
My family found Camden online, and then we went to a conference in New York where you talked about Camden Military.
That's right. I remember you attending that. And just so you know, we do have open houses all across the country, all throughout the year. So if you are interested in meeting with me or an admissions staff in person, do check our website open house schedule, as we do travel around a good bit. And we have a couple coming up to Cincinnati, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky, Raleigh, Atlanta. So we'll be coming to a city near you pretty soon. But also you can always schedule an individual visit or tour just by calling 1-800-948-6291 or sending an email from our website. But back to the same question, I want to ask Mr. Chestnut, how did you find Camden? Why Camden, South Carolina, Camden Military Academy?
Very similar way as Sebastian. I was very management skills. My grades were not where I wanted them to be. I've always wanted to go to a military college, so a military academy, and I knew that where my grades were not where they needed to be. And actually, my aunt and uncle found a school called New Mexico Military Institute, and I wasn't really all for that, so I was the one that went online and researched and found Camden Military Academy myself. Kind of put together a little presentation and kind of got them on board and convinced them to come down here as well.
Good, good. And Beasley, let's give you a shot as well. Why Camden for you?
Well, I went into all throughout middle school. I would mention to my parents like I kind of want to try out military school. They always thought it was like a joke, I guess. And then when I started off in high school, I wasn't doing too well. My grades weren't where they needed to be and such. My behavior wasn't all that great. So they decided to actually give military school a shot. So they looked up a bunch of schools and we went and toured some. One of them was actually Riverside in Georgia, up in North Georgia. And out of all the schools I looked at, Camden was the best bet. They let me pick through the options they gave me. So I ended up at Camden.
Good, yeah. And I believe you attended one of our own campus open houses. I remember, I think, actually doing your interview a while back.
Yes,
and Marshall, how about you? We'll give the alumnus a shot as well. How did your parents find Camden? You're from Columbia, South Carolina, so not too far away, but
Yeah.
why Camden?
Well, actually, my parents are from Camden, so they knew about Camden Military Academy, and like all these other guys, my grades weren't where they were supposed to be. I had no shot of going to college, going down the path that I was, and my respect level with my parents wasn't where it needed to be at all, and that's pretty much about it.
All right. Now, Beasley, we're going to throw a question out to you. When your family, I know that you said you had some input on the military, which military school you went to, but when the idea first started coming up, being floated around the house, a lot of parents will mention military school to their son, and they, are a little anxious about it. They're picturing and envisioning boot camps and barbed wire and those type things. What were your first impressions of military school once you arrived here at Camden?
I mean, everyone sees military school on like movies and TV shows and stuff, and it doesn't really look that pleasant, but I always thought that was pretty cool. I thought it looked awesome. So I just talked to them about it, and I think they were the ones that were more intimidated by it. They didn't think it was going to be a very good place for me. So like once they realized me going down the wrong path, they decided they might just go ahead and give it a shot.
Gotcha. And did anybody on the panel initially, feel like when they were presented with the idea of Camden that they were a little hesitant, not sure what they were getting into? Did any of you have that anxiety?
I kind of did at the beginning.
So tell me what's the difference when you first initially, what were your thoughts initially, and then what are they realized once you're here?
I mean, honestly, it's complete opposite, because yeah, they might yell at you, but it's because it's for the right reason. Like they won't yell at you for no reason.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, kind of like Michael was saying, it's an initial culture shock. When you first come here, it's completely different from everything that you know. There's so much structure and discipline that goes into it that's not your everyday life that it's going to freak you out. But after you take a little bit of time, you can get into the groove, and the days actually fly by faster because everything's so regimented.
Great. All right, we have a first question coming in tonight from Twitter, and they even picked the person they would like to address the question. So Alex, this question is going to you. How did Camden pull you back on the path that you wanted to be on? How did Camden help you get back on the path that you wanted to be on?
All right, well, to start off, I'll describe the path I was going down. Okay, my grades weren't very good. I wasn't going to school whenever I had a say in it. I wasn't doing my schoolwork. I was failing all my classes. I just wasn't the best kid. So my parents ended up letting me go to Camden, and once I got there, they'd like watch you do your you have supervised study halls, so your homework has to get done. Like you have to go out of your way to not do your homework. And by just applying myself, which they all encouraged me to do there, I was able to get back where I needed to be. Because honestly, everyone has they have it in them to get good grades and do the right thing. You just need that encouragement to get you to do so. And that's what Camden offers.
Great. Now, guys, a big thing, a big philosophy that we like to instill with guys here is leadership. And each of you, of course, have rank and that type thing. So tell us about some leadership opportunities that you've had here at Camden. Tell us your rank and kind of what your responsibilities are and any privileges that come along with those ranks. And George, we'll start with you.
Okay, I am a company commander in Bravo Company, which means that I am responsible and basically run the day-to-day operations and activities of about 50 to 55 cadets. So that's a pretty big responsibility, pretty big job. There's a few perks that come with it, but it's more of just the experience you get out of it and the real world experience. You learn how to basically run a small business or company because you're having to run different situations and all these different kids' day-to-day lives. They'll come to you with all their questions. You can find a way to answer them, figure out all this stuff. And there's also, that's not the only leadership thing you can do here. There's squad leaders. There's 6 of those in each company. You have team leaders, and there's 6 of those in each company. There's so many different places you can go and you can get to based on hard work and things like that. And each rank up, there's different perks, different things you do with it. But the most important thing, I think, is each time you step up, you get a little bit more responsibility. As a squad leader, you're responsible for a squad. It's about 6 guys. Platoon sergeant, you're responsible for a whole platoon, which is like 25 guys. And then so on and so forth until you end up being on being company commander or on the staff level where you're in charge of a whole battalion. So there's all kinds of different ways, but to me the most important thing to get out of it is the experience and how to work with other people.
Okay, and one thing I want to talk to our viewers about, you hear a lot of military terms coming out of these young men tonight, TAC officers and their ranks and things. I want to assure you that most of these guys had very little knowledge, if any, about military ranking, any military terminology prior to their arrival here at Camden. So you will pick up on that pretty quickly. I'm a civilian myself. I was not in the military prior, so I've been here at Camden now for 18 years. So I can pretty much identify with a lot of these things these guys are talking about. However, just know, I know that a lot of you can, and that might be a little intimidating. Don't worry about it. We will teach you these things. That's what we're here for. Guys, kind of along those lines, Camden or military schools in general sometimes, have that reputation that that's where the bad kids go, or that it is a boot camp, that we're going to strap a 50-pound backpack on you and make you run 10 miles. We don't do that. But talk to us a little bit about the balance that you have here at Camden, just with the military mixed in with the college prep boarding school. And Sebastian, we'll put that one to you.
For Camden, I feel like it is more college prep than military, but we still have military here. Lets you learn discipline and tradition, which are very helpful because many kids here come because they didn't really respect their parents or their teachers back at home. So it helps them shape those skills. Yeah.
And what would you tell a prospective student, we'll give this one to Alex, that is considering the move, but they are really nervous about that whole military lifestyle? Alex, what would you say to them?
Honestly, just go with it. Like, when you get here, you're not going to know anything, but after like 2 weeks, you'll be fine. Like, they teach you, they sit down with you and talk to you about it. You have a little book that you can read, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. I came in here knowing nothing about the military. I didn't know ranks. I didn't even know who to call sir. And I was at the exact same page that anyone else was at. And I learned in like under a week. It's really simple after you just give it a shot.
Gotcha.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
Also, just basically do what you're told, and you stay out of trouble and do what you're told, and the year would go perfectly smoothly for you.
And guys, I do like to kind of point out that Camden Military Academy, there are about 30 military schools across the country, but we focus more on military philosophies and principles. So we're going to be talking about time management, organization, self-discipline, structure. We're developing the whole man. We're in the whole man concept. So athletically, morally, of course, academically, and militarily. So we talk to each young man about what piques their interest, where can they become a leader, because unfortunately a lot of the guys that I speak with really aren't passionate, really aren't excited about much of anything. And so our job is to kind of let them start having success again in whatever area, whether it be athletically, militarily, academically. And then, of course, success breeds success. And you'll start, seeing big boost in self-confidence as well. We do have another question coming in on Twitter from Alicia. It says, what was the hardest part about coming to a boarding school? What's the hardest part about coming to a boarding school? And we will throw this one back to Sebastian.
I'd say the hardest part is being so far down south, since I'm from the north in New York and Connecticut, not being able to see my parents and my friends back at home so often. At least that's how I felt at first. But we do get to go have many breaks and go back. And also adjusting to, as Sharon said earlier, the cultural shock of how military is over here.
Okay, all right. And looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, but I'm hoping everyone can still hear us, even though our screen seems to be acting up a little. But Marshall, we're going to ask you a question now. We'll go to our alumnus. When you left us, of course, you went to the military college here. So, what did you learn here at Camden? How did CM here?
You're breaking up a little bit, Casey, but I think what you asked was how can the military prepared me for the Citadel? Hello? Did we lose Casey?
He said that's what he asked.
Okay. So pretty much, I like to always say that Camden military is just a mini Citadel. That the Citadel was just Camden on steroids. It taught me, yeah, it pretty much is. It taught me time management. I had no structure before I came here. I didn't know how to study. I knew how to do my homework, but it didn't get done just because I didn't want to. I'd rather go hang out with my friends. And I knew, you know, in college, you have to, everything's not regimented as much. You're given a syllabus and they say this is due this day, this is due this day, and they won't even remind you throughout the semester. So it made me really discipline myself more. And it made, I mean, all the success. I just graduated in 4 years this past May, and I still have buddies that are still in school. So that's one good thing about it.
One thing I could add on to what Arendelle said was, I heard him mention, or no, I'm sorry, what Sebastian said is he wanted to go home and visit all his friends and things like that. What I was most concerned about was that, not getting to see my friends and do things like that. But most people don't realize when you come here and you live with these people, and you get to know them and do things like that, you make friends here. So the people here become your friends, and you usually end up taking these kids home if you want furlough, or you want to go home with them on breaks and do all those different things because you live with them, you go through all this stuff with them, and they become your friends. So you will make friends very quickly. You might not think so, but it will happen.
And also, there's also a big like diversity of kids here. Like, there's so much other people that you can like meet.
Yeah, to add on to that, I also feel like within your company, you form like a great family, and within all of the cadets here, you form some sort of brotherhood because everybody's going through the Camden experience together.
But no, with the whole with the cover thing, so I personally had a hard time making friends back in my own school. Because grow up with those kids, you do so many different things, and you never really have a chance to branch out and make new friends. But that's why I like the idea of military school and boarding school, for that matter, because you kind of got to branch out, meet new people, experience different cultures, diversity. We have kids here from China, we have kids here from South America, we have them from all over the place. So you really get to expand your horizons and open up your eyes to different cultures, languages, other things such as that. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I agree. After Camden, I have friends all across the world. So wherever I am, I can find somebody, whether it be France or Greece or California, anywhere in the country as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, most high school people don't keep up with their friends that they had. But I feel like living with everybody, for the 3 years that I was here, it almost grew like a brotherhood. So I have my brothers from Camden Military, but also I have my brothers from the Citadel, and I'm as close to the ones from Camden as I am the ones that I graduated the Citadel with.
All right, guys. Of course, we had some technical difficulties, so I'm sliding in here with Michael. So I'll host from over here. I missed some of the conversation that was going on, but I do have another question here. It says, before Camden, were you struggling academically, and how did Camden help turn that around? So let's talk to, we'll go to Alex on that one first.
All right. Yeah, I was definitely struggling academically. Like, I was not getting my assignments, and I would, like Michael said, or Marshall said, I was always wanting to just go hang out with my friends rather than do my work. And I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of kids are these days. You know, they're just not that drive to get work done. So then once I showed up to CMA, we would have these supervised study halls where people would literally watch you do your work, make sure it gets done, so they know you're applying yourself in that aspect. And in the classroom, the class size is so much smaller than a public school that teachers actually have the opportunity to take the time to like show you the information and like just teach you a lot better than a public teacher would.
Right. And Michael, you're right here beside me. So tell me a little bit about your class size. How large are your classes here, Camden?
Well, my classes are basically like maybe 6 to 10 kids in a classroom. Like there's barely no people at all. So there's definitely time for the teacher to have. There's more one-on-one time with each cadet at school here. So the teacher has more time to teach you basically what it is that you don't understand.
Okay. And George, how about you? How are you doing academically before Camden? How's Camden helped you improve?
Before Camden, the reason I came to Camden, I had 2 Ds in one semester my sophomore year, and that wasn't cutting it. My GPA was down below a 2.0. I think it was like a 1.7 or something like that. And actually, this year I just went and checked with our academic advisor and Colonel Heffel, our dean of students, and checked my GPA. After 1 year, I got straight A's all last year. After 1 year, my GPA is now 3.2. And that is accumulated with my old school as well. So my grades before were not good. I've had the same problems. I was not bad at school. I just was lazy, could never give myself time to get my assignments in, all that. But being here, like Alex said, doing the 2-hour study halls every night that are monitored by a teacher and having the different resources to help you get through that and do your stuff, you're forced to succeed. You don't have much of a choice, and success is really not really an option at that point. You have to succeed because you're given every tool imaginable, and you really have to try to not succeed in this environment.
Gotcha. And I have another question from Twitter. It's coming from Jasmine, and I think we'll give this one to Sebastian. It says, what are the character lessons that you've learned at CMA? Not talking about academics, nothing to do with core subjects, but what character lessons or other valuable lessons have you learned here at Camden?
Character lessons, I feel like I've learned more to respect others. People are trying to help me out. People are trying to teach me, and realize that if somebody's telling you what to do, it's not always to boss you around. It's usually to help you. And we also learned that before you're a leader, you have to be a listener. That's another characteristic I've developed here.
Okay. And how about Michael? Tell us that. What's some qualities that you picked up here at Camden?
Definitely leadership. Like before, I used to follow people around and like just fake things so like people could think that I'm cool. But now I do my own thing, and I personally am me, so I don't listen to what other people say.
All right. And now we got a question for Marshall. And Marshall, you may have already covered this. When you came to Camden, one of the best tools that Camden gave you to help you survive or do better at the Citadel, what was something maybe invaluable, not academically, but something invaluable that you picked up here that helped you do well there?
I feel like it almost made me hold myself to a higher standard. When I went home and I saw like all my friends that were just out partying all the time and like they were having a bunch of fun, but I almost felt like I was more grown up, more adult like. And you know, when I went to the Citadel, I was at the top of the totem pole here and then went straight to the bottom, and it really taught me a lot of humility. It made me realize that it doesn't matter who I was, it matters who I am in the current moment. And you know, as Michael said, you always got to learn how to follow before you learn how to lead.
Right. Great. All right. Now we're going to talk about kind of a typical day at Camden, and I'm going to throw this one over to Alex. If you would just kind of wake us up in the morning and then tell us, about the school day.
All right. When we wake up call is normally around 6 o'clock a.m. So they'll wake us all up and have us come in the hallway. They'll tell us what all we're going to do. Usually it'll just be go get your rooms clean and wait for breakfast, basically. So everyone goes and they clean their room, and then their leaders are going to come make sure their rooms are clean. And if it's not, they'll tell them what to fix, and they'll get it fixed. And then at about 7 o'clock, we fall out for formation, marching to the dining hall. And then we eat breakfast there, come back, and then we clean the barracks. We do the fallouts, like the bathrooms, the stairways, the hallways, just stuff like that, getting it all clean. And at about 9:15, we all go to class. Class starts at 9:30. We sit in class. We have 40-minute classes and then a 20-minute tutorial period. And that goes until lunch, which is at about 12 o'clock. And then we go to lunch, eat, come back, and we have more class until 3:15. And then that's when people go to their sports. I run cross country, and then I do track and field in the spring. So that's when I would get ready for cross country practice, and I'd go to practice. If you don't do a sport, you'll have free time. You can do whatever you want. Go to the Carlisle house. There's Wi-Fi and snacks and stuff. There's pool tables and TVs. Or you can go to the pool and swim. Or you can just go grab a ball and throw it around outside. You can pretty much, it's just your downtime. And then that ends at 5:30, where you can get a shower and then get ready for formation at 6 o'clock. Then we go to dinner, come back, and as soon as we get back, we start study hall. And that goes until about 9 o'clock, where you just have plenty of time to do your homework and study and catch up with whatever work you need to do. And then at 10 o'clock, we start settling down. Study hall's over. You can start getting ready for bed. Send out your laundry if you have to. And then at about 10 o'clock, it's lights out.
All right, great. So the day is very structured. We do, like to have a little fun here too. So I'm going to let George. How about talk about the weekends? Kind of what happens on the weekends, some trips that we may take, things like that.
There are trips that we take here. There's a whole big long list of them you take at the end of the year. We go to Carowinds, which is a theme park around here. We go to the Whitewater Rafting Center in North Carolina. That's got bike trails, all kinds of things. We'll go to football games, Carolina Panthers. We'll go to basketball games. We do trips up to D.C., Washington, D.C. to visit the Capitol. We'll take trips to go paintballing on Sundays some guys. Just yesterday, actually, they took the Corps that was still here from furlough. They took all of them to the movies. So everyone got to go to the movies, all 100 and some kids over here. They go down to Florida, they go down to Universal Studios and Disney. So there's a plethora of different things that you can do. But on weekends when there's not trips, your weekend's still structured, but you have a little more free time. Like on Saturdays, if you want to wake up, or if you haven't sleep in, you don't have Saturday classes, you aren't doing something that weekend, usually they'll let you sleep in until about the latest, like 10 o'clock, 10:30. You can get a pretty good sleep in after waking up at 6 o'clock for your whole life. It seems like 10 o'clock is really quite a good break. So you wake up then you go to formation for lunch, and then after that, you pretty much have free time until dinner. Once you're certified on the weekends, you can order food. There's Papa John's, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. You can go to the pool, you can hang out with your friends. Go play football, go throw the frisbee, do some stuff like that. Then after dinner, which is at 6 o'clock, you come back. You can have free time on the recall. It's time to take a shower, lay down in bed, read a book, do some homework, do whatever you gotta do to catch up. Now on Sundays, we will go to chapel in the mornings. For those kids that do not go to the non-denominational chapel service that we do on weekends, they can go to off-campus churches. They can go to, there's a room where some kids will go and they'll have their own little service with themselves. After that, we have lunch. Then Sunday's another day in the afternoon where if you don't have to march or not do anything like that, you have free time. It's your time to do what you want, prepare yourself for the coming week, or to kind of relax and recover from the following week or from the previous week. And then you go lights out at 10 o'clock, and then you wake up that Monday morning at 6 a.m. and you're ready to start all over again.
Hey, okay, good. And we do like to keep you busy, so with the weekends and throughout the week, we have 13 different sports you can choose from. I believe most of these guys do some sports, and you can also do intramurals. We have intramural program where it may be ultimate frisbee or flag football or something like that going on here on campus. But there's always other guys looking for stuff to do. There's pickup games of of basketball. There's guys outside with the skateboards. So, there is a chance to actually have some fun. Have a question from Barbara on Facebook. And a couple of you have mentioned other schools that you looked at. But what kind of sets CMA apart for you? Tell Barbara what sets CMA apart from other schools. And Alex, I believe you were one. Go ahead.
All right. The main other school that I toured that I actually attended an open house for was Riverside Academy. And I think that's like the other like top military school in the South, at least. That's like around this area. And compared to Riverside, CMA is just a lot more free. We get to have a television in our rooms if we want to. We get to have our cell phones during the day, besides in the classroom and whatnot. They actually provide Wi-Fi in some places on campus. And this school actually does trips to go other places like George was talking about earlier. Riverside doesn't provide any of that stuff. Like, you can't have your phone, you can't have a TV, you have a small room, and if you're a senior, you get to have a laptop. And I just couldn't see myself living that lifestyle with like nothing. But this school actually gives me some wiggle room to enjoy myself,
Well, and as you look, at other schools, you'll see we're each a little different. When people visit other schools, whether it be a military school or just a boarding school, what we hear a lot is that we have a very family-friendly type environment here at Camden. A lot of our staff and faculty live here on campus. We have dogs on campus, cats on campus, running around. So lots of makes you feel like you're at home. And we're small. We're a campus of about 280 people when we're at capacity, and so everybody knows everybody, and it's a lot about brotherhood. These guys get really close while they're here, and I do want to talk about that brotherhood. So Marshall, I'm going to go back to you for a second. Being an alum, have you met some guys, or did you meet some guys when you were here that you still are in touch with today? And just tell me a little bit about that brotherhood.
I still have a bunch of buddies that I talk to. Most of them are ones that went to the Citadel. I have one that's in Charleston Police right now in Charleston. He graduated from the Citadel with me as well. Another buddy who was actually a year above me, but he came the same year, and he's working for Merrill Lynch right now in Florida. So I do keep up with a lot of my friends from here, and it's kind of funny. Most of my friends that had high school buddies, they don't really keep up with them as much. They're still friends with all their college, but it's just different. It's just a completely different experience. When you wake up and you're eating breakfast and living with these guys 24/7, they literally become your brothers. I have a sister, but I also have 10 or 15 brothers that I still connect with from Camden.
Also, can I add on to that? Also, you get along a lot with your roommate. So I mean, especially with your roommate, you're just gonna be like talking, and then when your guys are not together, you're actually gonna miss each other. So I mean, like my roommate, I had one roommate, his name is Brooks. Over the summer, we were talking, and we showed each other stuff like online, and it was just like you definitely get that brotherhood.
And I think the brotherhood helps guys kind of adjust to Camden as well. When you initially arrive, it is a little bit of an adjustment. I call it culture shock, because a lot of guys are kind of used to being able to do what they want when they want while they're at home. And Sebastian, would you say that the brotherhood or the camaraderie here at Camden helps kind of get you through that initial period?
Yes, I agree. Like I said earlier, everybody's going through the Camden experience, so everybody feels just about the same. Knowing that other people understand helps a lot. Being able to form friendships like that.
Yeah, right. And and when you're here, making those friends, again, you're networking with a lot of people from all over the country, all over the world. This year we have 29 different states and 9 different countries here. So these guys will have friends all over the world for the rest of their lives. Let's see. We have a question that came in. What is your favorite memory from Camden, Marshall? That's an interesting question. What's your favorite memory from Camden?
My favorite memory. It's kind of hard. There were so many. I think probably it was my senior year playing baseball, and we were just about, it was our last game, the last game I was ever going to play, and there was we had 3 or 4 seniors that I was really close with, And after the game, we had lost by 1 run, and we were all just like huddled up, just kind of talking. And the whole team, like all these kids that I'd been on the team with all year, came up and just almost like wolf packed us and gave us like a huge hug. And everybody was just feeling the same sadness that we weren't going to be there anymore. And that was like just hit the realization that this was it. That was the end of my experience for high school baseball. That was coming down to the end of my experience of Camden. And I was looking forward towards the Citadel and scared and not knowing, but it was nice to know that I had all these brothers that had my back, and that if I needed them, that they were there for me to call.
Yeah, I will say, just again, being here for 18 years, it's really neat for me to see these guys when they initially come in and they're very kind of scared. They don't know anyone. They're really nervous about leaving their friends behind. They come in here, they forge these bonds, they form this brotherhood, and then years later they come back, and visit the campus, and they're asking about these guys. And now, as I travel all around, I was in Tampa recently at an open house, and we had an alumnus stop in and introduced me to his wife, and he was getting ready to have a baby, which he did. So welcome to the world, Dexter, by the way. But anyway, it's really neat to see these guys stick together as long as they do. And it's something really unique that I think is really good for young men to have that close relationship. Now we're going to ask the current cadets, what's your favorite experience you've had here at Camden, whether it be athletically, militarily, on a trip? And we'll start out with Alex.
I think my favorite experience at Camden was last year on the first ski trip, where we went to Winter Place in West Virginia, I think it is, where it's just like me and all my friends. We shared a hotel room there, and we snowboarded for the whole weekend. We were making a GoPro video, and it was just really fun, just a great bonding experience.
All right. And George, same question for you.
My best experience, I've been here, probably have two of my top. I've probably have two, but I can't leave them out. One would be playing on the football team here. I've enjoyed football, and brotherhood. You feel that is like a even closer one in and of itself. Probably the other one would be I did the National History Day competition last year with Alex, our good friend Dean, and a kid named John Branch, who also goes here. And we got to worked on that for months together, got the project going, and then we actually won the region, got second in the state level, and went on to the national level. We all went to visit the University of Maryland this summer to compete at the national level. Got to tour DC a little bit. But it was all worth going into that and hanging out with those guys all the time and seeing our project and all our hard work kind of come to fruition. So that was probably my best experience.
Okay. And Michael, how about you?
My favorite memory would probably be last year for Spartan Challenge, when we helped the whole company, we made a company flag, we designed our own t-shirt, and it's basically a day where we each company makes their own t-shirt and their flag, and then we go to stations, and it's just so basically
it's like a field day outside.
It's a field day outside. And so we get to walk onto the parade field, and everyone shows off their flag and t-shirt, and it's definitely a pride there in your company. You must have pride in your company. So it was just a brotherhood that I felt, because everyone in our company was screaming Charlie, Charlie, and it was just all definitely a bond that we form in our barracks.
All right. And I do just want to say one more time, if you want to ask a question, just use the hashtag Camden Military, and we will, of course, ask these guys those questions. But I want to give Sebastian a chance to respond to that as well. Go ahead, Sebastian. A favorite experience or memory here at Camden?
My favorite experience here at Camden would probably be with the band company Color Guard, because there's a good group of people that I got to command at the end for graduation and the Kershaw County Special Olympics, and being able to bond with them was a very fun thing.
Cool. Yes, and we do host the county Special Olympics here on campus each year, and that's a very fun day for these guys, and they do participate with the athletes, and it's a day of celebration here, certainly each spring. Now, I do want to introduce myself again. I don't have my name here on the screen. We had some technical issues earlier, but I'm Casey Robinson, Director of Admissions. And then Marshall Shehorn there is also on the screen. He's an alumnus, but he's also the Associate Director of Admissions. And so our job basically is to help you through the whole entire admission process. And we want you to do it as easily and seamlessly as possible. People sometimes get a little apprehensive about making a change, especially if it's mid-semester, mid-year. But Marshall and I will walk you through the process. To begin the process, we just need an application. You can go to our website, camdenmilitary.com, complete the application there. And then we need an unofficial transcript. Don't need that official transcript yet, just an unofficial transcript so we can look at grades, and then an interview. And that interview can be in person. We would love for you to come to campus. But if it can't be in person, we can do a Skype or phone interview or FaceTime, whatever works best. But anyway, if you have any questions about the admissions process, just give us a call, send us an email. Any email that you send from the website comes directly to me, and my Marshall or myself will give you a call back. All right, we have one last question here from Miranda on YouTube. This question is for Sebastian Alfredo. How have you felt yourself change throughout your process here at Camden? What's how have you changed since you've been here at Camden?
Since I've been here at Camden, I've been able to take more responsibility. And as Michael mentioned earlier, learned the skill of leadership, being able to lead people for a greater good. Also being able to do my homework and getting in the good habit of doing that as well.
Good. And my last question, guys, I have a personal question I want to ask you. Your parents, are your parents proud of you? Are they happy with the process here at Camden, how things are going? And let's just kind of go down the line. Alex.
Yeah, my parents are really proud of me. When they sent me here, I wasn't really much of anybody. And then I got here and I started working through the ranks and I started playing sports and stuff. I got here as like nobody, and now I'm like captain of a few sports and I'm an officer in the ranks. So they love seeing that. It worked out really well for them.
And George, you.
Yeah, they're my aunt and uncle, and they're very, very proud of me. The biggest thing for me, like I said, was the grades. So getting those straight A's and a 4.0 for the year while being Camden has been super huge in trust and pride back, and my own pride myself. So no, it's definitely been a wonderful experience so far for me. And I'm really excited to be back this year and see what the new year has to hold.
Okay. And Sebastian.
I think my parents are very proud that I'm here. Like Beasley said, he moved up the ranks very quickly. So did I. Became a sergeant first class, and my parents were very proud of me. On awards day too, I got the American Legion Bronze Star Award, and they were very proud. He even gave me the decision if I wanted to come back senior year or not. Of course, I came back because I love this place.
All right. And Michael.
Yeah, my mom's definitely proud of me because my grades have definitely changed, and so has my behavior. And yeah, I just really appreciate the fact that she cares about me to send me to Camden Military Academy.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up and end our Google Hangout for tonight. We will be posting this on our website. So if you joined us late, you can watch it there probably tomorrow. We'll have it posted. And again, if you have any questions about the school, please go to our website, camdenmilitary.com. Give us a call, 1-800-948-6291. And we apologize for the technical difficulties tonight. But hey, just like you should do in military school, we got through it. Thanks, guys. All right. So until next time, we'll hang out with you later. Take care. Have a good night.